This is your host, and today we are looking at what happens when Darkseid unleashes Godzilla against the Justice League. So what would happen if Darkseid managed to merge his power with that of the King of the Monsters? Which version of Godzilla are we talking about here? Is it the classic incarnation or the Monsterverse incarnation? Well, it depends on which version of Darkseid we're dealing with. If we're talking about the new god incarnation from the comics, then I think that this would be an epic battle. This Godzilla, even though he's still the king of the monsters, has been depowered somewhat in comparison to other incarnations. The new gods aren't messing around, and they have defeated this version of Godzilla before. The way that Darkseid would defeat Godzilla here is probably by using the Omega Sanction, which completely erases the target from reality. However, that might not work on all versions of Godzilla. For example, the original 1954 Godzilla was actually able to regenerate after being destroyed, so Darkseid may need to use the combined power of him and Godzilla S to defeat this version of himself. I mean, let's be real. Most versions of Darkseid couldn't even defeat Superman, so having Godzilla join him might be just what he needs. Now, if we're talking about the Monsterverse iteration of Godzilla, then this could be really bad news for the Justice League. Unlike the other version of Godzilla, this one hasn't really been depowered and is considered one of the most powerful kaiges in history. He's fought against King Ghidorah, who's practically a god, and won. He also survived a nuclear blast from King Ghidorah, which is pretty crazy. Even Superman would struggle to take this version of Godzilla on by himself, but I do believe that with Darkseid's help, they could do it. The two would need to combine their powers to attack Godzilla's weak point, which is located at the base of his skull. If they can attack this weak point while Godzilla isn't paying attention, then they should be able to take him down. Otherwise, they'll have to deal with some serious atomic fire and the destruction of Metropolis. Well, even more destruction because Metropolis is already in ruins from Batman vs. Doomsday. I really do think any version of Wonder Woman would be able to go toe-to-toe with Godzilla physically, so she'd have to rely on her fighting skills and brains to take him down. But even then, I'm not so sure. So maybe we could see her use her lasso to try and calm Godzilla down, or maybe get inside his mind and try to convince him to stop attacking the city. That's actually a really cool idea, and something that I think would play well into the overall story. Maybe Godzilla is under someone else's control and only Wonder Woman can break through the mind control and free the king of the monsters from his captor. As for Aquaman, he definitely has a chance here, but it wouldn't be easy. The guy has controlled an army of fish before, so taking on one giant lizard shouldn't be too much of a problem. Plus, I'm sure that the other members of the Justice League would back him up if things were getting a little hairy. I love how Black Manta was able to control Godzilla in the LEGO DC Supervillains game. It was such a great moment, and I hope to see more interactions between these two characters in the future. Cyborg is probably out of luck here. I mean, yeah, he's got a cool sonic cannon and all, but it doesn't seem like it would do much damage to a and I am pretty sure that Godzilla's atomic breath is going to cancel out any of Cyborg's Eddy attacks anyway. That said, Cyborg's technological prowess could come in handy. If there's any way to stop Godzilla, it's likely that he'll have something to say about it. Maybe he can create a device that will either attract or repel Godzilla, forcing him to leave the city alone. As for Shazam, he's basically a dead man walking. There's no way that he's beating Godzilla. The kid has lightning powers, for crying out loud. Godzilla just shakes it off and keeps coming. The only reason Shazam is on this list is because he is probably the closest thing that the Justice League has to a nuclear option. But the fact that he is basically useless against Godzilla is kind of why the rest of the team is better suited for this task. Still, I'd like to see him try and fight alongside Captain Marvel against Godzilla. Now that would be a fun movie. The Flash is probably the only hero that stands a chance here, but it would take some serious concentration to pull off. He could try running around Godzilla so fast that he creates a vortex that sucks the kaiju into another dimension. Of course, he could also run around the planet at super speed and make it seem like he is standing still to Godzilla. But I think that one would be a lot harder to pull off. Either way, it would require a lot of focus, and the Flash is known for losing focus on occasion, but I think he could pull it off if he really needed to. Green Lantern is probably out of luck here, unless he gets a little creative. He could try and fly into outer space with Godzilla, and then construct a sun in front of him, hopefully causing the kaiju to pass out from exhaustion. Or maybe he could try and trap Godzilla in a force field. Yeah, That would probably work for a few seconds, but eventually the pressure would build up and cause the force field to explode. So not really the best plan. Plus, Green Lantern would probably need backup from the rest of the League to pull this off. Still, there's one member of the Justice League that might stand a chance here. I'm talking about Green Arrow, because he's the only member of the Justice League that's actually hunted Kaigas before. In Justice League International number 46, Green Arrow takes on a kaiju named Tiamat, who's similar to Godzilla and definitely just as powerful. Oliver Queen is able to take down this monster by exploiting its weakness to high-frequency sounds. Could he do the same to Godzilla? I guess it depends on which version of the character we're talking about. We know that Godzilla has shown a weakness to high-pitched noises in the past, so maybe Green Arrow's sonic arrows could do some damage. It's definitely worth a shot, and I think Green Arrow would be the most likely member of the Justice League to figure this out. Plus, with the help of Black Canary, the two could put together a sonic attack that would force Godzilla to flee back into the ocean. But let's be real, this is going to be one tough fight. It's going to take all of the Justice League to take down the King of the Monsters, even if he is weakened somehow. But if they manage to do it, then the reward will be great. They'll win a new ally in the form of Godzilla. I mean, there's no way that the Justice League could lose this battle. Just think about the awesome team-up potential that we could see in the future. Superman and Godzilla are both alien visitors to our world, and they share a common goal of protecting the innocent. It would be awesome to see them team up. And don't even get me started on the possibilities for Lego sets. Imagine getting Godzilla in Lego form. The kids would go nuts. And let's be honest, the fans wouldn't be far behind them. We've seen how popular the Kaigas are in the Monsterverse, and how excited people get over the trailers. If the Justice League is ever given the chance to team up with the King of the Monsters, I think they would jump at the opportunity. So that's my list. Who do you think would win? And do you want to see Godzilla team up with the Justice League? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been your host, and until next time, peace out, true believers.